Well, hey, here we are. Welcome to SquishiVision, where I give my live reaction of a thing I've just watched. Not a chance to kind of delve into and pick it apart and make notes. Literally just finished watching it. Um, kind of late on this for various reasons. But I've finally watched the last four episodes of What If, and here are my thoughts. So I was watching them, as they're coming out week by week, and then things happened, and I didn't watch the last four, and now I have in one go. So we're gonna talk about them all in one go, um, as best as I can remember. So let's go episode by episode, and then we'll take the series as a whole. The Killmonger episode, what if Killmonger saved Tony Stark? Overall, I thought it was an entertaining episode. Um, I think it basically it was interesting because we got the character's entire motivations were exactly the same. And in a sense, the plan was exactly the same. They just moved it much earlier, so rather than waiting um, until after, you know, basically after Captain America Civil War, they did it right at the beginning of the MCU, and that accelerated timeline, how it affected everything they did subsequently, and meant that they actually won. A bit confused by character motive. I'm pretty certain Eric Stevens knew that T'Chaka killed his dad, right? I remember from remembering quickly from Black Panther. It's been a while. Um, so it seems odd that he was perfectly. He seemed at that point didn't seem fussed about getting revenge, but I guess that kind of ties into his original plan as well. Um, I agree with a lot of the critics that I've read about that the episode did kind of end abruptly, but also that's kind of the point of these series. We're meant to see snapshots of stories from universes slightly different from the ones, but also kind of a bit similar to the ones that we've seen. So we don't have to spend up time re-establishing stuff. That was kind of one of the criticisms of um, what if Agent Carter was Captain America was because it spent too long actually doing what we've already seen, rather than giving us a particular snapshot. Um, and yeah, it was definitely it was nice to kind of a variety of, I guess, set pieces from a variety of films, just slightly differently. So there's bits from Iron Man, slightly different bits from Age of Ultron. That was well, I mean, it was all brought earlier, but it was set pieces from Age of Ultron, but done differently. Um, Set pieces in Black Panther done differently. Um, it also kind of very, it also was very much like what if the Avengers were killed off, or whatever the episode was called, in that several key players were killed and assassinated, but for slightly different reasons. Um, yeah, I mean, and I think it definitely allows us to see a bit more of Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of Killmonger. Um, and also more of Andy Serkis' Claw, which I think we got criminally not enough of. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Wasn't anything kind of massive about it, but I thought it was great. Moving on to um, moving on to sorry, moving on to what if I was a child. I wasn't that. It was very much a inconsequential, light-hearted um episode. I think I've seen quotes from writers. It was meant to be a brief episode before the finale, and until it was that. There was definitely some humorous parts in it. I just felt that the ending was very kind of cringy. I definitely felt the ending was very cringy, and so I wasn't massively a fan of the ending of the episode. By ending, I mean the cleanup of Earth, not the cliffhanger, which was actually quite tense. That being said, the fight between Thor and Captain America was great. It was very Dragon Ball Z, very anime like. Was definitely kind of a fan of that prolonged sequence. I like how they were kind of. I think I like how they're generally evenly matched, but also it has strengths in certain different areas. I like how 4 is generally more. I don't want to say skill. But he's for Captain Marvel to win. She has to basically go nuclear. She has to basically be very destructive in a very unfocused sense, which is obviously quite a risk. So it's not something that you know she's more powerful in some senses of the word, but it's a very dangerous power that so it means that she's not automatically the winner because she has to be uh, very aware of her surroundings. Whilst 4 is perhaps less powerful, but can do more damage in a more focused sense. And I also like how they didn't establish a winner because I think that would have been quite a controversial decision. But the rest of the episode, I'm not quite sure why they all. I really know part of the joke. It's not quite sure why they think they thought Thor was such a threat because he was just coming to do a party. Um, I guess I don't know, disrupting capitalism by making everyone party. That would check out, I guess. Um, and then yeah, so we get the two-parter, which is what if Ultron won and what Watcher broke his oath. Um, and we'll get, I guess, more on if he actually broke his oath in a second. Um, yeah, and this is very much a darker episode like we were getting. So the other two were less kind of bleak. I guess as this one, as these two were quite, although that being said, I'm not sure how I think about the fact that Ultron could, Ultron could just kill Thanos with the Mind Stone. Um, Thanos' skin is meant to be quite powerful, and we've seen it resistant to beams. And we know that Vision's Mind Stone isn't absolutely powerful because it can be blocked by some things. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I assume so anyway, because he used it against Ultron, and Ultron resisted it not very well, but he resisted it. So it seemed I get they had to kind of do that for the premise to happen. It just seemed very easy and kind of I don't know. I guess part of the joke for this entire series is Thanos isn't all that, but come on, it's only been what 2 years since Endgame. Let's not undermine that whole impact of that quite so early. But let's move on because that's my only little nitpick. The rest of the episode was kind of great. I like the idea that I always thought someone like Arnim Zola wouldn't be that willing to kill themselves because they seem quite eager in self-preservation. So I always fan theorized that he let himself be destroyed in America because he has backup and copies, and he does, and it's confirmed this episode. And I'm glad that kind of fan theory is now canon. So I like they brought Zola back, and I'm glad I'm like he played a considerable role. I feel Barton's kind of exhaustion, and it's great. And in a sense, it kind of works out. I watch this after I've watched Hawkeye because I can feel his exhaustion then. I feel his exhaustion here. This fact that he doesn't want to fight anymore. And this whole robot arm thing is kind of cool. I like how their plan makes sense. Like a lot of people criticize the inclusion of Hawkeye and Black Widow on the Avengers team because they're normal, super agents, but no more secret agents, but nothing more powerful than that. But I always felt my skills weren't in battle; it was kind of the other assets they brought to the team, and we definitely saw that here. Um, Kind of like it was that they were acting on a plan. And I like how they revisited the old set piece from. So I like how they're taking set pieces from different films, like this is a set piece from Captain America: Civil War, but using it in completely different context. Like it just happens that this is all a set, but we get to see it familiar on set. It's kind of like you play action figures and you put them in your Lego sets that you've already built for another Lego set kind of deal. So I very much enjoyed that. I like how everything went to plan, but just because Ultron had escaped that time, they couldn't actually do anything about it. Someone explained why from this episode to the next episode he gets put back in the Arrow. Not sure how she actually even got the Arrow because didn't the Arrow get pulled out, but whatever. And then yeah, we get more kind of. It's interesting because up until this point, for the most part, Jeffrey Wright, I think his name, has played the Jeffrey Wright has played the Watch characters are very kind of, what's the word? Very reserved narration. So it's kind of to see the casual exclamations like "What the hell?" and "Wait, what?" and the whole kind of narration watcher to actual watcher reacting watcher. Um, it's a bit unnerving to be honest. And I kind of I it was interesting to kind of see his whole panic about, oh, I want to intervene, but I can't. But it's literally right there. It's like, yes, you are the audience. In canon. Um, and much like when Doctor Strange, realized that the Watcher was there, when Ultron realized the Watcher was there, um, in that same set of nervousness. Except this time he was actually he. I like how he was narrating the own reveal without realizing like what he was doing. He was like, and then the Ultron realized there was someone else there. Wait, he realized I was there. I was. It's like you're reading a book and you see your name mentioned in it. Um, and we kind of it's just, yeah. And then he kind of breaks through into the Watcher's observatory and actually, fights him, and we actually panic, and that's actually kind of impactful. And eventually wins against the Watcher, which I guess kind of shows the limit of his power. It's not even up to kind of worldly things, which actually means that the Watcher is less powerful than TVA, because the TVA is way above kind of things like the Infinity Stones, but not the Watcher. And then we move into the next episode where the Watcher grabs certain individuals from different times, and some of them make sense. Actually, to be fair, apart from, well, I don't know. I guess it makes sense, kind of. It makes sense when you know what the plan is at the end. But that plan, I don't know if they were chosen for that plan. Well, actually, no, they were, because Stephen Strange said at the end he knew the entire plan. So actually, yeah, it's a. I was going to criticize the choice of this 4 versus any other 4, but really he needed an obnoxious 4 because that was distraction. And I like how they all actually play their parts, and really the Watcher wins because he's been observing. He knows the impact of all these characters. Ooh, this actually tied together quite well. So because he knows the impact of all the characters and the roles they play, he's not looking for like the most powerful, because it's not a blunt hammer job. It needs some skill. So we got, obviously Captain, um, America has the kind of the gusto, I guess, and the leadership, and the is there to bring Black Widow on board, and you know provide that kind of hero play. Thor is there because we need obnoxiousness. T'Challa is there because we need a thief and someone who's good enough to steal an Infinity Stone. Obviously, Doctor Strange is there actually for the Force power. Um, Gamora is there because they need that original plan, which the Watcher knew was going to work, but would allow for the kind of other plan to come into effect. And then obviously he brought him into, and then we need Killmonger to betray them, and we've got um, Black Widow. And I like how they also pull some other things. They pull the zombies through, so they pull like Scarlet Witch through as a kind of distraction. Um, that's a nice kind of callback to that episode. I like how Captain Carter realizes that the tentacle monster is the same one that they fought back in her episode. That's a nice kind of connection. I like how it's not actually explicitly said, but we see it in her when she recognizes it. That's kind of nice and subtle. So I mean, I'm not actually entirely sure. Did the Watcher break his oath? Because his whole oath was not to intervene in the normal order of things. But I think if someone's actually breaking through and potentially eradicating all of the multiverse, is that the normal order of things? I mean, if everything, including yourself, is going to be destroyed, I think there's a point where you're like, well, the rules kind of don't matter. I guess to actually find out if there's any consequences to this in the next season. I mean, he makes some good changes. He moves the Black Widow to the episode where Avengers die, which is uh, a nice kind of tie into the episode as well. So actually, a lot of episodes kind of tie in to each other, but not even as callbacks. I'm trying to remember which episode the moral comes from now. I'm sure I know. I just can't remember. Is she from the? She's not from the T'Challa episode, is she? What episode is she from? Um, yeah. I still think the one Doctor Strange is like the most darkest episode, but this is pretty decent. And a lot of the also a lot of shots in the Ultron episode were quite like amazing. Like the shot where Hawkeye sacrificing himself, which is obviously a nice callback to Endgame. There's a lot. I like that kind of. I like that shot. There was a lot of shots in there which could be like, you know, frames, like frozen images, pieces of still artwork. Um, oh, I love how talks about she goes to different planets and takes them over. Um, it's a bit kind of ambiguous of what his level of power is. If he can just destroy planets that easily, um, and also why he would destroy the planets. Surely you need. Well, I was gonna say surely you need one to evolve them. I guess that's why he leaves Earth where it is. Um, God, it's hard to kind of wrap 4 episodes in one go when you've got them in one go. So what do I think of the series as a whole? Let's move on a bit here. Um, Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed the animation. I thought the animation was great. I thought it was some nice kind. I thought it went up and down. There was so much were kind of very high stakes, interesting kind of on. Sometimes were very high stakes and interesting narratives and character examinations in and of themselves and kind of commentary on the MCU. Others were very light and inconsequential and just action figures in different settings scenario, and they're all enjoyable and fun. So far, we've not seen anything in this show which kind of ties into the MCU as a whole. This could easily have been self-contained if it wasn't explicitly not self-contained. Um, there's none of the kind of multiverse balancing ever went into the mainstream, and I guess that's kind of the point. There is a lot of speculation, especially if Strange Supreme is going to end up in a Doctor Strange movie. I think there's kind of people implying that he would, but this kind of seems to again contain him back into his bubble again. Um, so he's possibly not. Um, but yeah, like it was generally like some episodes are kind of like this is I guess amusing, but a bit self, a bit kind of just action figurey and not in a kind of amusing, not well in an amusing sense, but not in a kind of do we need half an hour of this? Whilst others were very, like I said, the fight scene in the last episode with Ultron and the Guardians of the Multiverse, I liked, and I liked how it was believable. Like they defeat him in a way which you'd expect someone to defeat a very powerful character that's in a very imaginative way. Like I said, it plays their skills. Um, you've got. I mean, I'm not sure why the soul stone wasn't more fixed into his chest, but it wasn't just brute force. It was a plan to kind of distract and divert. You know, although this kind of doesn't seem to imply that Strange Supreme is in a sense more powerful than the Watcher. And I guess maybe he is. Just not able to kind of stop the effects of time and space, which were locking him into the bubble he was locked in. And the Watcher can do that. Um, but yeah, so I'm looking for. I'm hoping next season we get kind of um more episodes where the other Watchers appear and kind of we get that kind of conflict, and then I am looking forward to kind of seeing the Watcher in the films or at least TV shows. I kind of think we need a um live action Watcher, but I think Jeffrey Wright did a really good job of like moving. Well, not a really good job. I think there was maybe this is his job. Is like the pacing. There was a bit of a kind of whiplash changing character. Yeah, I don't know if that was a point or not, but I don't mind it because I think he did such a good job at kind of portraying the character. Um, Yeah, I think that's all my really my thoughts. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that kind of stood out to me that I was trying to think about. This is the problem about not taking notes, I guess. Maybe I should have taken notes because it was 4 episodes in one sitting. Um, there was some good humor in it as well. I think I giggled at some points. That's very bad analysis. Okay, well that's end there. But thank you so much for watching this, and we'll see season 2 and see for Hawkeye on Wednesday. Um, I guess the issue with kind of deep analysis is that it's really just going to be a lot of cheap fun, um, and self-isolated fun. So, but I guess there is some kind of larger scheme ramifications. And like I said, I think apart from the one killing of Thanos, the rest of this, I think that's kind of quite a weird contradiction. Like he was able to one shot kill Thanos, but then we were able to have a kind of balance otherwise. Like if I think the issue is if Infinity Stone Ultron was able to was able to kill Thanos, why was he having so much trouble? Well, I suppose it was because of the magic, right? But then, yeah, I guess Strange Supreme is like one of the most powerful characters in the MCU so far because he has all this kind of power that even Doctor Strange doesn't have. Doctor Strange is powerful as he is, so I guess that kind of checks out. And I guess just to me, I mean, as confused about kind of the power levels of Vision beforehand. I know people say that Vision was nerfed a lot in Infinity War, but I think he was nerfed in a way which made sense and was believable and was like strategic. Yep. Okay. Well, then I think if I'm out of steam, it's a good point to end. Thanks for watching. Sorry, this last episode, last kind of reaction, is a bit of a lot of my enthusiasm is down at the moment because of relapsing into depression. Why should I be quite about it? Let's be proud and out about my mental, well, not proud, I guess, about mental illness. Let's be open about mental illness. I'm depressed and it's hard to kind of be terribly engaged with things, but um, yeah, it's just the reality of things. So yeah, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys Wednesday, I hope.